What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Underdog Podcast. Today, we have part 2 of my mock draft 3.0. Really excited again to bring you guys this video. Super hyped for the draft on Thursday. Just can't come any closer, man. And I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen. I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of my mock draft. Put a lot of time into it. We've got trades again. So I wonder how you guys felt about that Debo trade, about how you felt about the top 10 in general. Today we're doing picks 11 through 20. Some really interesting things going on in this one. Definitely some surprise picks. So I hope you guys really enjoy it. And again, please comment on your thoughts on these. Leave a like, subscribe. Would really appreciate it. All the support is really helpful. So we go with pick number 11, which is owned by the Washington Commanders. However, there's going to be a trade. I think in this spot, there's a couple guys Washington could go, but you would get greater value for the guys if you trade back. So I'm trading up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We are giving up the 20th pick, our third rounder, which is 84th overall, and a 2023 third rounder to come up 9 spots to take the quarterback from Liberty, Malik Willis. And you are like, well, why are you taking your 4th quarterback first? And it's because Malik Willis is the highest upside out of any quarterback in this class, in my opinion. Maybe besides Matt Corral, but I think Willis has more tools, more traits than Corral does. I'm just super high on Corral. And I think his upside is right there, if not very close to Malik Willis. But I think Malik Willis needs to go to the right place in order to thrive. And I think Pittsburgh has that perfect plan here with Mitch Trubisky as like that bridge quarterback for a year, and then you play Malik Willis next year. He's got a phenomenal defense, really good running back in Najee Harris. Definitely think that O-line needs some work, but he also has a really good group of receivers in Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Anthony Miller's there now. So I think this is a really good spot for Malik Willis. I don't like it as much for Matt Corral because I think I like Matt Corral in less of a pro-style offense that Pittsburgh is. They're more of a ground and pound, quick passing offense, which did kind of fit with Corral, but I think Corral needs to be in more of a spread, wide zone, focus offense. I don't think this is the best fit for him. I think Malik Willis fits much better in this as he kind of did that at Liberty. So that's the pick, is Malik Willis from Liberty. And then at number 12, we have the Minnesota Vikings with 2 very clear needs. One, which they filled in the offseason, which is edge, but you could still shore that up. The other is corner. Really good player still on the board here in Derrick Stingley Jr., the cornerback from LSU, who is getting top 3 hype right now, which is pretty crazy. Stingley is going to fit in this scheme. Man up, punch some dude in the face from across the line of scrimmage. Really going to fit well with this Minnesota defense. He's got Patrick Peterson there as a mentor for him immediately. It's going to be a really good fit for Derrick Stingley Jr., who I think, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he goes anywhere from 3 through 15. I don't think he's going to fall past this spot in Minnesota if he's on the board. However, we've seen, stranger things happen. But I really think that Derrick Stingley Jr., if he gets back to what he was in 2019, is probably the best player in this class. And that's saying a lot. You got Kayvon Thibodeau, you got Evan Neal, you got Kevin Kwanu, Zion Johnson. But I really think Derrick Stingley Jr. is going to be a household name someday. Pro Bowler, All-Pro. The Liz Frank injury did scare me a little bit, but obviously his testing numbers were incredible. He ran 4.37 in his pro day, so long speed isn't a question, technique isn't a question. It's just, is he going to buy in? And I really think he is here at Minnesota. He's got Patrick Peterson as that mentor. Like I said, really like this fit for the Minnesota Vikings. And then at number 13, the Houston Texans, who I think in this spot you could go a variety of different ways, and Houston is looking for guys that are going to fit their culture, that are going to want to build something there at Houston. However, there's a team that really, wants to trade up, who is really looking for perimeter weapons for receivers. That team is the Green Bay Packers. So if I'm the Houston Texans, I'm calling up Brian Gutekunst, and I'm saying, hey, we're going to take Jameson Williams right here if you don't trade us your first-round pick next year and 22. Packers are going to play a little bit of hardball. They're going to say, we'll give you 28. We'll throw in our third as well and give you our first next year for 13. Houston has a done deal. We'll talk about who they are picking in the next episode that is a very, very good player with a lot of talent, but B is also going to help them lose this season so you can acquire a Bryce Young, a CJ Stroud, or whoever top quarterbacks can be next year. So now moving on with the Green Bay Packers at the 13th overall pick. This is going to be Jameson Williams from Alabama. And I think if Jameson Williams wasn't hurt, for me personally, he would be wide receiver 2, maybe even wide receiver 1. I'd put him at 4 just because I don't know when he's going to play. It seems to be that he's ahead of rehab schedule. However, we don't know if that means he's going to be in time for OTAs, for training camp, for preseason, for the regular start of the regular season, for week 4, for week 8. It could be any one of those numbers, any one of those times with that ACL injury. But I think Jameson Williams would give Aaron Rodgers a guy to just open up the defense. I think he's their immediate Z. I don't think he's an X, but I think he's a Z that has really, really real talent. He's probably the best at deep tracking the football, even better than Chris Olave in my opinion. His routes are really crisp. He knows how to leverage defenders, how to set them up for those deep routes, for those deep posts, those deep crossers. And he's the fastest dude in this class. I mean, he's probably really close to 4.3 speed. I really think that Jameson Williams is going to be a game wrecker coming into the NFL. He's going to be really, really nice target for Aaron Rodgers. Cannot wait to see that connection happen at the next level if it does happen. I don't know if Green Bay is going to make this move in reality because they haven't drafted a wide receiver since 2002, which is crazy. But if they do come up to get Jameson Williams, who I know has been a hot commodity, I know the Cardinals really like him. I know the Falcons really like him. There's a lot of teams that could, really want a receiver. And the Packers, you want to make sure you get one in this draft class because you have no one right now in your receiving room. I mean, no one that you feel confident about to be a 1. So you need to go get somebody. And this is me going up and getting Jameson Williams in this scenario. Then at 14, we have the Baltimore Ravens, who could go in a variety of different directions. I think edge is probably your best case scenario here, although tackle isn't out of the question. Trevor Penning really fits what Baltimore likes to do. Hard-nosed, just gritty, mean, tough, offensive linemen who really get their hands dirty run blocking. But there is a guy here that I think, who I'm lower on, my 7th edge in this class, who has been getting number 1, number 2 overall type buzz that really fits Baltimore really well, and that's Trevon Walker. It's kind of a similar situation with Odafe last year. A lot of people were like, we see the talent. He's super raw, but we see the talent, and he's like a round 1-2 guy. And then, he goes to Baltimore, and everybody's like, well, he's going to be a stud now. Baltimore really knows how to develop these edge guys, and especially guys who are freaky athletic, super raw coming out of college with limited experience, limited roles, and they turn into freaks. I mean, Odafe last year was really great when he was on the field for the Ravens. I think this is the perfect match for Trevon Walker. I don't see him again as that number 1 overall pick, number 2, although now it's reportedly that the Jags are off Hutchinson, and he's probably going to be the number 1 overall pick, which, man, the Jags are making a mistake if they do that. But Trevon Walker in this scheme is going to be really, really nice. He's an immediate impact in the run defense day 1. I think he's a very, very good run defender. He's very good at leveraging offensive linemen, getting off blocks, making plays in the run game, and then he will be able to develop there as a edge rusher in that Baltimore scheme that knows how to develop these guys. I think Trevon Walker has a ton of talent. The combine really just blew him up. Just based off the tape, I cannot put him in the same class with some of these guys, but I do have him going earlier to the Baltimore Ravens because, again, they have a proven track record of developing these guys. He's a really good scheme fit, and he's a Raven-type football player. Moving on to number 15, this would be a dream scenario for the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion, who really need help in the defensive secondary, and you got a player who's in my top 10 on my draft board falling to 15, and Trent McDuffie from Washington. This is an amazing fit here for Philly, who's playing that zone-heavy scheme, and McDuffie excels in off-man, off-zone coverage. This is a perfect scheme fit for McDuffie and the Eagles. I know McDuffie's a lot smaller, but I think he has the best technique out of anybody in this class, and that's saying a lot because Derrick Stingley Jr. and Ahmad Gardner exist. Just his ability to attack the football for being such a small guy, getting his hands on the football, disrupting receivers, and being in their hip pocket at all times is incredible, man. I mean, Trent McDuffie's tape is a Class A performance on how to play defensive back. I think if he was 6'2", 6'3", I think I would have had him going number 3 to the Houston Texans. I really think that McDuffie is in that same class with a Stingley Jr., with a Sauce Gardner. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl or All-Pro someday. Really phenomenal player coming out of Washington who's low-key becoming DB University out west. Really like this fit for the Eagles. It gives them an immediate corner 2 with upside to replace Darius Slay at cornerback 1. And they really need help in the secondary. I think it was their biggest weakness last year for Philadelphia. Philly fans should not be mad at this pick at all. Really good pickup here in Trent McDuffie. And then we have the New Orleans Saints at 16. With the trade with the Eagles, they have this pick now. And I think the Los Angeles Chargers are sitting behind you, and they have a really big need at right tackle. So you run this pick up to the podium, and you say, Trevor Penning, tackle, Northern Iowa. Penning, for me, is a round 1 grade, but I think he needs a lot of work. He did really get trashed on at the Senior Bowl. I think he was beat a lot. He doesn't handle power well, and it's surprising for a big guy, so he's going to need to work on his anchor especially. I think that's his biggest weakness right now. I don't think his hand speed's quite where it's at. Being at that lower level of competition, you always wonder how these guys are going to translate. So I think he's going to need work with hand placement and footwork in the pass game, but he's an immediate impact in your run game. He can just level dudes, man. I mean, he is nasty, gnarly. He's going to need some help also with discipline. I think he's sometimes undisciplined with the amount of penalties he has. But you lost to Ron Armstead, who was an all-pro level tackle. He was also hurt a lot. You bring in Trevor Penning, that's kind of the next best option for New Orleans here, unless if you were to trade up really, really high to get a Charles Cross and a Kemekwane or an Evan Neal. I don't see any of those guys trading out of those picks. I mean, maybe the Giants, but I don't think that they would, if Kemekwane is still on the board, I don't think they would give that up to the Saints when they desperately need to tackle themselves. So I think that's the pick for New Orleans. Makes a lot of sense, and they have a pick coming up in 2 picks as well. So you address a need and you keep Los Angeles from taking that person from you. Then we go to the Los Angeles Chargers. Another easy pick for me. I know they addressed IDL in free agency with Sebastian Joseph Day and a couple other guys, but Jordan Davis is the real deal here. Really, really like Jordan Davis. He's like a more athletic Vince Wilfork. And Vince Wilfork was pretty athletic. I mean, Jordan Davis is going to help an immediate need for Los Angeles, and that was stopping the run. They were dead last in stopping the run last season. I mean, you look at games like Cleveland, you look at games like Dallas, they were absolutely gashed by run offenses. And it really cost them a chance to be in the playoffs last season. So Jordan Davis plugs in immediately there. It's going to be a day one impact as your nose tackle, your run-stopping guy. He's just going to eat up that A gap and potentially the B gaps because he's that large of a human being. Super athletic dude, and just going to be an instant impact player for this Chargers team that desperately needs help on defense. And they upgraded with Khalil Mack, trading for him from the Bears, and J.C. Jackson, signing him over from New England. That defense has been reworked, and Brandon Staley and company are looking to make a run in the playoffs. Jordan Davis is going to help them do that by stopping their terrible run defense that they had last year. And then we have number 18, New Orleans, who in the past with this pick, I've gone quarterback. I've had Sam Howell. The Saints really believe they can win. And with this extra first-round pick, now I think you're in a position to be able to win. So you're going to take another receiver as you don't really have anybody outside of Michael Thomas. I mean, I like Marquez Callaway, but Traquan Smith's a bum. Deontay Harris is more of a gadget type guy. So I'm going Chris Olave, wide receiver from Ohio State, who gives you an immediate Z. On the outside, gives you a route runner, a guy that you can rely on getting open. He was big time at Ohio State, really, really produced really well all 3 seasons. He's gonna be able to stretch the field as well, where Michael Thomas is working in the intermediate and underneath in the big slot. And then on the outside, you also have Marquez Callaway, who's similar to a Michael Thomas. He's going to be your big-bodied possession guy. So now you have more targets for Jameis Winston to throw to. Really, really good offense there for New Orleans. I think, again, Olave doesn't have the ceiling of some of these other guys, but I really think if New Orleans really wants to win right away, they're going to need a guy that's going to come in and be immediate impact, well-refined route runner. That's what Olave is. I think he's the best floor player in this draft class, and New Orleans couldn't have gotten somebody to help them out immediately right away than Chris Olave. And then number 19, the Philadelphia Eagles are back up again, and I think a lot of people are not going to be happy with this pick. They're Philadelphia Eagles fans. But I think they need to, I feel like they still need to address the secondary. They brought back Anthony Harris, but I don't really know who else they have at safety. So you bring in a guy like Daxton Hill from Michigan, who can play free safety, he can play strong safety, he can play nickel, he can play a dime guy coming down, he can guard tight ends, he can play in the box, he can do just about everything. And you're going to be like, well, why aren't they taking Kyle Hamilton? And I don't think Kyle Hamilton's going to do all the things that Daxton Hill can do. And versatility for Philadelphia has been few and far between recently. And I think Daxton Hill gives them a guy that they can use in so many different ways. Out the gate. I think they already have their Kyle Hamilton in Kazir White at their will linebacker spot, who's an absolute stud. I love Kazir White. Great cover player the last couple years in LA. He's not much of a run defender, but really is a nice sideline-to-sideline guy, really good coverage instincts. I think that would be the role Kyle Hamilton would play. And they already have that guy in Kazir White, so we need somebody that can play a deep safety, can play the nickel, can play all those things. And I think Daxton Hill is the best fit for the Philadelphia Eagles. I thought about Drake London or George Pickens as that big-bodied receiver, but Drake London, gives me like Arcega-Whiteside flashbacks. He didn't really work out there. I don't know if the Eagles are going to be able to use him properly, and same with George Pickens, even though I like the size of the receiver on the outside. But I think Daxton Hill here is the best pick possible for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then at number 20, the Commanders steal. Some of you think it's a steal. I think I have Kyle Hamilton, a borderline top 10 player on my board. So, it's hard for me because I think I trust that Kyle Hamilton's going to be a really good player at the next level, but he has to be able to be utilized in the right way. I think Washington can do this. Ron Rivera is a really good defensive coach. Jack Del Rio, who's their DC, has been a head coach before. He knows how to use this guy. I think Washington's one of those teams that will have a plan for Kyle Hamilton and how to utilize him. I think Jamin Davis is more of that will linebacker. But I think he could move into a Mike or a Sam, kind of like Thomas Davis did, and then they have Kyle Hamilton play that like bandit role at linebacker, stuff like that. I really, really think Kyle Hamilton could be special here in Washington due to the coaching. I don't trust the defensive coaching as much with Philadelphia, which is why I took Daxton Hill, because he could do more. And I really think that Kyle Hamilton needs to be put in a place where they have a plan. And I think Washington has a plan for him, where he's going to be playing in the box. He's going to be matched up against tight ends, going to be playing some will linebacker. I think that's the role that Kyle Hamilton needs to be playing, with occasionally playing a deep safety role, but I don't think he can do that all the time. So thank you guys for watching part 2 of my mock draft 3.0, picks 11 through 20. I hope you all enjoyed. Please leave a comment. Where was I wrong? Where was I right? Did you like all the picks? Did you not like all the picks? Stuff like that. Again, I'm going to be trying to live stream for the draft, at least the first round, on Thursday night. I will finalize my decision. Probably on Thursday, I'll have a video coming out, midday about what I'm doing for that. So please stay tuned for that. And part 3 comes out tomorrow. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And have a great day, everybody, and peace.